we're all movie lovers. Everybody loves movies, really. It's like one of the 3 things on everyone's dating profiles these days. But as much as we all get hyped up for the next big Pixar film or cinematic conglomerate, there's something to be said for the real bottom of the barrel stuff out there. So that's why, starting now, I'm setting up a whole new series covering all sorts of terrible movies. Technically, there's plenty of past videos I've made that fit the bill here, but this is the official start. And since it's early days, I'm gonna stick to animated movies for a little bit because they're just, they are just the worst sometimes. So that leads us to our first video victim, Hoodwinked 2: Hood vs. Evil. A sequel, believe it or not, to the 2005 fairy tale subversion of Hoodwinked. Now, that alone wasn't the best film in the world, but I wanted to start with the sequel because, honestly, I have a bit of a soft spot for the original. There's a strange kind of charm and wit to it, despite the quite noticeable pitfalls of the film. And I just really liked some of the elements it played with. The premise of the Hoodwinked world, to get you suited for the sequel, is that this is another fairy tale subversion story banking off of Shrek's success. It's the story of Red Riding Hood with a badass young girl, a chill detective wolf, a yodeling nice woodsman, and a stunt crazy granny. And they're all wrapped up in a little thief mystery. And after deciphering the mystery, first as suspects and then assistants to the forces, they're hired up with the Happily Ever After agency, and the sequel follows their next mission. Seemed simple enough, right? How could it possibly go wrong? Well, a lot of ways really, a whole lot of ways. For a start, just look at that awful animation. This movie came out in 2011. At least with the original, you could argue the low budget was to blame, but keeping this style just makes the characters stiff, like they're made out of ceramic or something. Romeo and Juliet, Sherlock Gnomes, and its lesser known prequel, Little Red Riding Gnome. I know it doesn't fit the word pun, but I wouldn't put it past them at this point. Ugh, not a good start. So the film starts out with a brief book opening of the previous film to catch people up, and Boingo the Bunny? Why is he credited in this film? Oh, nice! I guess it's just a straight up spoiler right up front. Thanks, movie. So the team's on a mission to infiltrate another classic fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel, with them trying to rescue the kidnapped kids from the evil witch. The mission goes terribly as Wolf W. Wolf, yes, that is his name, and Twitchy Squirrel, improvise, and oh god, just look at how these events unfold. So the witch flies away on her broom, right? So Granny rocks up with her motorcycle. Kinda normal for the Hoodwinked universe so far, you kinda get used to it. Then they race to the witch. Granny then vaults off of the bike and gets handcuffed to the cage on the broom. Alright. Wolf then continues on the bike, and for a bit of fan service, they bring back an old character with the yodeling goat. But just look what they did to my boy.
Walked in the path of a motorcycle, knocked off a cliff into quite a pickle.
And then the wolf, oh, no, never mind, the clip's still going.
An angry rock climber.
And
another beaver.
Comedy. Get used to this. Humor. So anyway, the wolf continues, and then he does the exact same thing as the granny, vaulting off of the bike and smacking into a windmill. And then he grabs onto Granny mid-air and then falls back onto Twitchy and the bike, and the witch gets away. I mean, what a start, right? If this is how the movie opens, then you know you're in for a wild ride. So before we get into the real meat of it all, why not consider subscribing? This is the first official episode of a new series on the channel, and I've got a few I plan to juggle in 2020. So give me a chance. 80-ish% of viewers aren't subscribed right now, so I can tell if you're one of them. Go do it. Switching over to Red, who's on her own little quest, she is to fight the troll on top of the bridge, apparently. And for whatever reason, they decide to open up the scene with this horribly phallic-looking composition. Why would you shoot it like this? No, move. And then they shoot the fight scene like some kind of 2D game, I guess. Red's crazy good at fighting, able to bungee jump at will, and the troll has a thing for being outsmarted in the most basic and boring way. Oh, and also saying this.
Oh, muffin.
And then they end it off with a Back to the Future rip-off character trait. Anyway, it's revealed that this is a training ground for Red, cooking themed of course, and that the ultimate trial is learning to cook the super truffle, a recipe that will make you utterly invincible. It's missing.
Oh, muffins.
Red hears the news of her granny's kidnapping and joins the rest of the gang.
Blogs about animated films.
He should get a life.
Well, you got me there. But since we're here, might as well mention, this is clearly not the same film as its original. There's been a lot of changes, and they make a noticeable difference. For a start, Red was originally played by Anne Hathaway, but was replaced due to the success of her acting career, and apparently that original film was likely a favor for Harvey Weinstein and the last of her little girl roles. Ugh. Still, it's good to hear a success story out of all this. Directing-wise, I was really drawn into the first film for its chronology. It's not a simple linear story, it has what I lovingly call a time-traveling narrative. It probably has a proper title, like a narrative feedback loop or something like that, but what I mean is the events are replayed again and again from different perspectives, commonly like seen in murder mysteries, but with Easter eggs scattered throughout from everyone else's perspectives on everyone else's perspective. Does that make sense? As a kid, seeing how each character contributed to like the minecart section from the first film, and how it all connects and can be witnessed in the background of other people's versions, completely blew my mind and added a real nice depth to the whole film. This film doesn't have any of that. In fact, the new director hadn't even seen the first film when he signed up for the role. The genre change from action mystery to action adventure really bogs it down. The comedy is also a lot less witty and more childish, and some characters were full-on disregarded in how the filmmakers worked on them, but we'll see that in a bit. For now, it's time to investigate. Story-wise, I mean. So Red, Wolf, and Twitchy go to the Giant's nightclub to interrogate his harp. The film attempts some more comedy by playing pinball and name-dropping fairy tale characters.
Who the mother goose is this supposed to be?
Yeah, it's not much. And eventually, they steal the harp and just run. The harp then tells them that Boingo the Bunny is behind ingredient shipments as they slide down the giant beanstalk. What a surprise! I could have never seen that one coming. Oh, also, the giant and his rhino henchmen are chasing the crew, so they leap off of the beanstalk as Red throws the harp towards the giant, who catches it and...
Oh, muffins.
Comedy. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, that clip's not done either. Just keep on going with it. Why not?
But here I'm nice and comfy.
Comedy. You know, I really liked this character in the first film. He's a secluded mountain goat with a curse to always sing, unless it's perfectly great comedic timing to not sing. And he gives us a great little musical number to go with that minecart sequence I mentioned earlier. Here, it's just bland. Anyway, they confront Boingo the Bunny, the baddie of the last film, who has his own Hannibal Lecter moment. Really, it was quite a lot of fun, for that voice actor at least. Story-wise, it achieves very little, and the witch, masquerading as the cleaner at the very beginning of the scene, gets away. And I guess we're supposed to be emotionally invested, because Red and Wolf then go on to argue about who let her get away, but something about the delivery feels like it's not very hard-hitting. It's like they're going through the motions and saying the words, but nothing else. Though Wolf voice actor Patrick Warburton did admit he remembers very little about the production of this film, so who knows. Over to the witch's lair, she wants Granny to make the super truffle, as she once did during her training, and after struggling to get the right tools, Granny then uses them to escape and reaches the kids herself, only for them to reveal that they are the true ringleaders. It's the classic subversion on the fairy tale. It's kinda not bad in a vacuum.
You've been hoodwinked, too!
And you had to ruin it. You know, the first film had a great over-the-top musical number for all of this. This just felt a little less deserving, but whatever. We get some nice backstory about the training of the witch and Granny, a nice joke about Granny being there so it's not necessary to tell the backstory, and then some references to other tales through failed recipes making other iconic elements of future fairy tales like poison apples and frog-producing man traps. But hey, I didn't hate that bit.
Victory of being number one!
How hard could that be? Ugh, muffins.
Red, searching in town for a certain clue, succeeds, calls the team leader Flippers, with Hansel and Gretel spying in, and they then choose to release the pigs. Why was this not a thing before? I don't know, but oh well. And why are there suddenly bad pigs when the first film introduced good police pigs? In fact, why are so many models from the first film reused for entirely different background characters in this film? Didn't the sequel have like quadruple the budget of the original? Man, that is some lazy filmmaking. Anyway, after their argument, Wolf is moping about at home, which is apparently a trailer in the woods, and he talks to Twitchy about his scenario. There's a gag of Twitchy having a great time in comparison to Wolf, and he gives a nice little wholesome pep talk, except
You got mad skills.
this isn't Twitchy's voice. This is the voice actor's voice, just pitched up. Where's the speed of it all? This is the first film's version of Twitchy,
Hey, looky, I found this box of candles. A big box.
and this is the second.
Red is out there looking for her granny all alone.
Well, it turns out the voice actor actually approached the new filmmakers about this change, and they responded with blank faces. They literally didn't care. Dude was one of my favorite characters as a kid, because of course he was, but here he's literally pushed to the side for no reason. Boo! Screw those filmmakers. Also, they chose to stick to the same bland jokes of the first film for any good comedic substance with the character, with the agency slowing down his voice in the first minute of the film and giving him coffee by the end of it. No build-up like the first film or any kind of genuine effort put in, just haphazardly thrown in there with some poor quality original content slapped on top. But hey, at least the story gets interesting. So those destructive pigs that came for the agency earlier, yeah, well, they've come to Wolf's trailer now, and they blow it up with an RPG. Yep, Wolf announces his existence because a chase has been scheduled in for this sequence and they gotta tick their boxes, and they escape off of a cliff only to be blown up mid-air.
I say nothing.
Next thing we know, they pop up at the agency, which has now been devastated by the pigs. There's a callback to what just happened a few moments ago and how they survived, and this is really the only inkling of time-traveling narrative there really is in the whole film. I kinda liked it, but then they followed it up with a very dated Twitter joke straight afterwards. 2011. That's not even that early Twitter days. Oh god. Red is captured by the pig guards by pure bad luck because a whole window fell out and I guess she needs to be there for the story. And Wolf pops up in record time because the timeline is completely screwed up and they all fight to get in. There's a couple of flat jokes with the kids about not being mad at the guards for not doing their jobs on the phone and then laughing, not knowing why they're laughing, and then continuing to laugh. I don't know. And then the story continues. So with Wolf and Red reunited, they decide they need some muscle and go to the local shows where they meet one of the core characters from the original film, Kirk the Woodsman, who's now a famous actor with a cast of beefy yodelers. Yeah, we're going in a random tangent now. With that crazy cast, they then barge into the tower in a real Bugs Bunny approach, and oh, also, they attack with gas, without gas masks on, against the pigs who are wearing gas masks. And it works. The yodelers stay back to let the plot continue, and Red and Wolf find the kids. Wolf and Twitchy take them back down the elevator, only to be subdued by gas, and Red goes to find Granny. She discovers the recipe and the missing ingredient the baddies are after by taste alone, but not before a, admittedly not terrible Star Wars joke in the middle.
Trust the Force.
What?
And then everyone reveals themselves. I guess the kids just teleported upstairs or something. With the recipe complete, they produce the super truffles and the kids consume them, growing into gargantua invincible forms.
Muffins.
The kids betray the witch and leap out, revealing their hungry pet spider. The yodelers crash in and help fight the spider while the witch escapes, and Wolf and co are stuck in the elevator the whole time. Eventually, the spider is pushed back and the witch is gripping onto the edge of the building. She's saved, Red is prepped up to beat the kids somehow, and Wolf and Twitchy finally catch up, ready to use the witch's broom to confront the kids themselves too, and the witch stays behind. Are you following all this? It's just a bunch of action, really. Because at this point, it's very much your standard action-y boss fight. While the first film had a kind of hostage situation and a bomb timer and all sorts of cooperation going on, this film just has a bunch of snotty brats being destructive for fun. Still, Red knocks them both off of a building and onto each other somehow, and they throw cars at her. They get distracted like babies by this flying witch broom. One smacks the other in the face. They all end up on a train, and then the kids throw the train to... Okay, you know what? Why don't we just play a game? Let's just guess what happens next. Does A, the train get thrown into the distance and explodes upon impact? Or B, the train is hoisted up onto the top of the tiniest little pin overseeing the entire city at the very top of that deep dark tower they've been climbing in an impossibly balanced situation. Yeah, it's B. This film may be a cartoon, but my god does it feel insulting to watch sometimes. And add on to that, the characters have to play a balancing act on the train, right? And instead of staying still where it's perfectly balanced, they decide to walk towards each other and meet in the middle, even though their weight is clearly not evenly distributed. The squirrel does not weigh the same as the granny. Also, they keep throwing damn gum wrappers off to the side multiple times and are like shocked Pikachu faced when the train moves. I mean, come on! This is the epitome of idiotic behavior. Are you kidding me? Still, all is fine. They get caught by a spider web, a very rectangular spider web. Verushka the witch befriended the spider instead. Also, I guess the kids decided to conveniently stop caring about these guys and assumed they were dead? Alrighty, but before the confrontation can continue, here's yet another film joke. It's that dead horse goat joke again. This time, instead of being injured yodeling, he decides to break out into opera singing and manages to survive. Then he continues yodeling and falls down a hole. I mean, I get what it was going for, but God, hasn't the film ever heard of the comedic rule of 3? Apparently not. Even when they did the rolling pin gag. Oh my, just knocked my phone off the desk. The rolling pin gag from the beginning of the film only popped up twice, and yet here, this is just overkill. How many times has this damn goat appeared? So the kids are confronted again, first by Flippers, then by Red, and then the others. They refuse to surrender and continue attacking because they're just flat villains and they have nothing else to do, like sell the truffles like they at one point said they were gonna do. Twitchy drinks some coffee, but it's way less funny or even really focused on at all in comparison to the first film. And Red is given the same Back to the Future moment from the start. Again, kind of missing the rule of 3 for, re-establishing that character trait somewhere in the middle of your film, but whatever. And with her new character development across the film, she then proceeds to do the exact same thing and falls for it again, only to be smacked to the side. Well, isn't that a waste of everyone's time then? Wolf blurts out about eating more truffles means more powerful, and it fools the kids into eating even more truffles only to balloon up into immobile beach balls, and the day is saved. Yay! Everybody had a role. Red got smacked into a wall, Twitchy ran around, Wolf said words, and Granny existed. Forget the whole elements of beating the villain through fast communications to the police, stealth moves with the Granny, and bringing back elements from earlier in the movie. That's too movie 101 for this film. Just do the blandest, basicest, boringest ending option. And so, for some final gags, the kids are told their rights.
You have the right to a treadmill. You have the right to broccoli.
Not broccoli.
It's some real funny stuff, and they live happily ever after, with Red and Wolf as functional partners in crime, driving off to crash into that damn goat again. And then the credits play with this awful lyrical song telling the elements of the film. Truly a piece of ironic, trashy art. Hey, how did this film do review-wise? Oh, muffins. I would intend to end off these videos on some kind of positive note. We may all love hating things in this day and age, but a little wholesomeness can't really go amiss either. The film flopped! Yay! Corporations lost in a weird little backwards way, and really, that's just a win for everybody. And the only ones who lost out were the corporate blockheads who abused their influence to make a crappy project. Those that put in the effort get my respect. As for the rest of it all, they can all stay buried in the list of terrible movies. I'll just stick to the original, thank you very much. For now, my name's been Daz, you didn't really care, and I'll see you in a bit. I'm looking forward to making this series. I don't know why, I really like watching terrible movies. That's just such a nice little backwards way of enjoying things that way. If there's any other terrible movies you think you want me to cover, do let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep working on this format, make it more entertainment based perhaps, and we'll see where it goes. And my chest infection is slowly going away, so that's all good too. Anyway, that's enough rambling on my end. See you later.